What's good, my Regal Kings and Queens? Welcome to Zed Regal Mindset. This is the place where the mindset, it always matters. Now, today's reasoning is called the cost of self-transformation. What did it cost me? What has it cost you if you're someone who's gone through transformation? And I know for me, it was a solitary journey within. What I'm trying to achieve and what I've been working towards were big dreams. And it's not something that you can always take people along with you because they're not in the same mind space. They're not on the same journey, on the same path as I was. So I had to create space for myself in order to achieve and learn new things. You get me? Like, disability was the one thing that on one level, it took me away from so many different things, as in I wasn't able to go out and do as much social engagements as I'd like to. I wanted to go out and do the whole weekend raving and stand up all night and dance. I couldn't do it. I'd be in pain. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to be that person in pain and having to get sympathy from others. Oh, let's, help Regal. Not allow that. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be the boy in the corner who was like, I'll just sit here while you lot have fun and I'll watch you. I wasn't on that. I wasn't trying to put myself through that. You know what I'm saying? The time that I had for other people, it became less because I had to focus on myself. Remember, I've got an appointment with a wheelchair. My Harley Street doctor said I'd be in a wheelchair before the age of 40 as a result of the injuries that I sustained when, in my younger years. So I had a time limit on what I could do and needed to do leading up to that point if it would happen. Do you understand? So it helped me to go into myself. Do you understand? The changes I needed to do was about focusing on myself. It was about, I had to let go a lot of friends because they weren't on the same wavelength. You know what I mean? When I decided to change, they weren't on it. So they had to go. Family, they don't always understand who you are or what you were trying to achieve. Well, they definitely didn't understand who I am and who I was. You understand? My family thought I was this rude boy on the road and that was it, just this little tuggy tug, but that wasn't me. That was just part of what the surroundings had shaped me into in a certain stage of my life. The real authentic me was yet to be found, was yet to come out. And I always knew that there was something deep inside me that was different from anybody that I'd ever seen or come around. I could just feel it. And how I was living, I knew that wasn't the key in order for me to achieve this new person or this new way of being that I could feel. So I had to look into myself, and it's a really solitary journey. Disability, in one way, it took me away from things, but it afforded me the time to really go in and do the inner work to learn who I am and what my abilities and my skills and my gifts were. It was like when you change and you look to be that transformation, it alienates people because they thought they understood you. They thought they understood me, but they didn't understand what I was going for. Do you understand? They didn't understand my dreams or my goals. And to be quite frank, actually, no, let's be Zed. Let's be myself. To be quite honest, and I'm always honest, every time I tried or told somebody about the things that I'd be doing and I'd be going to achieve, they try and bad mind it. They try and envy it. They try and bad talk it. They try and get in my mind and say, oh, what are you doing that for? And you know what I mean? Because they couldn't do it or they wasn't in the space to try and better themselves, they would try and belittle my thing and make me feel like inferior, try and small up my thing. And I wasn't having that. You understand? So I had to put boundaries up. When I realized that the certain patterns of behavior through others wasn't helpful to what I'm trying to do, I had to take myself away. I had to distance myself in order to give me that time and space so that I can nurture my own energy. Do you understand? I like being in my own space. I love being in my own place. You know what I mean? I don't fear being alone or at home on my own, because when you're in your own space and you got silence, your mind can think, it can travel. You know what I'm saying? You can channel information and learn things about yourself that you wouldn't do when you're surrounded by noise. You get me? So disability was a beautiful, challenging, key factor for me in order to be able to realize who I am and my potential. Like I said, I always knew there was something in me bigger than what I was living. And there's a saying, it was like, that goes like, my calling, it wasn't a conference call. You understand? It was a one-on-one thing between me and the Most High, which means it doesn't matter what you lot think or anybody else thought about who I was or what I was doing. It doesn't matter if they didn't understand the movements and the things I was doing. It's not a conference call. You wasn't invited into the conversation. This was a one-on-one conversation with me and the Most High. And I would always follow these gut feelings and prompts that I would get on the inside. Have you ever been through something where you heard a voice or a feeling that told you to, I don't know, go left? And you heard it and you decided to say, you know what, I'm going right anyway. And what happened when you went right? Not what you wanted. And he was like, I should have just listened to myself and gone left. Yeah. That's the higher self. That's the Most High. That's that. Whatever you think that is your guide. That is the signs guiding you to your purpose and the direction in life that you need to be going. And I've always followed that. The times that I haven't, I've learned the hard way, but at the same time, they were valuable lessons to help me become the person that I need to. You get me? To be able to learn discernment, to be able to trust myself, you understand, and not be dependent on what other people think and what other people say. It's part of self-mastery. It's part of that self-transformation. You understand? Like, explaining yourself to someone who is committed to misinterpreting you is pointless. You ever been in a conversation or a relationship with someone and you try and explain why you're doing something, or you know, why you've changed or why you're doing this, and it's just like they don't get it? Or more to the point, it's like they just don't want to get it because they're still stuck in a certain mindset, a certain way of living, a certain way of thinking. That's all they know. So when you're trying to do something different, they're not trying to hear it. They're like, what, you think you're better than us all of a sudden? What? So many times people have said to me, what, you think you're better than me? Actually, no, I don't. But I know I'm better than the person that I was yesterday. You get me? The only competition any of us ever have is ourselves. That's what I learned. I'm not in competition, and I've never been in competition with anybody. Everybody's got talent. Everybody's got skill. Everybody's got, everybody's got things. But you don't have to compete with them. All you need to compete with is the person you was yesterday. If you're better than the person you was yesterday and you keep moving forward, that's the only competition we have. That's the only competition I had. And that's how I looked at life. You understand? I found that when I'm trying to move forward, it felt like everybody was energy leeches, vampires. Because I'm a giver, I give so much in so many different ways. When I was flush, financially flush, I would give. Do you know what I mean? When I wasn't financially flush, I would still give my time, my energy, my words of wisdom, my guidance. Because I'm a spiritual healer, sometimes my presence was enough to be able to calm the energy, the nerves in somebody else, just by me being there. And I'm sure a lot of you can resonate with that as well. Sometimes, if you're being a a shoulder to cry on for someone, for example. You don't need to say anything. You just need to be there and be present and listen. Do you understand? So I give in so many different ways, and a lot of people took that for advantage. You know what I mean? And I realized that I had to put boundaries around how much I give and who I give to, because it's not always appreciated. You understand? That solitary time alone that was given to me through having to go through a life of physical disability that affected literally every area of my life, I found that to be a true blessing. Do you understand? People didn't understand what I was on, what I was trying to achieve, what I was going to. They'd see me, obviously it started in music, so I'd be doing events, be doing radio, I'd be creating albums, self-produced albums. They're like, okay, yeah, I see that, maybe you're trying to. And then I'd switch and I went into television, and they're like, why are you doing that? Well, I thought you was doing music. And I actually, well, no, there's more to me than just music. I can see where that goes. I can see the different routes to reach the top of the game in music. A lot of those routes I wasn't willing to take. I wasn't willing to step down certain roads in order to get there. And at the same time, I also knew there was more to me than just music, because I helped in so many different ways. I did the television, production, events, presenting. And remember, I'm a healer as well. I've learned to use my hands and massage. So the healing taught me about communicating with different peoples on different levels and different ways, and helping them heal their body, their mind, and their soul. You get me? I'm known as an intuitive soul healer. I'm not just a massage therapist. If you've ever had a healing treatment from me, it's not normal. It's not normal. It's an experience. You know what I mean? A beautiful experience. Sometimes a little bit uncomfortable depending on how tight your muscles are, but it's an experience. And the majority of people, if not all, have always felt a shift, a healing. They felt better immediately after the healing, and especially long after the actual physical hands-on thing, you know what I mean? So the journey is solitary to self-transformation. Not everybody's going to understand your reasons why you do what you do. And sometimes, and a lot of the time, I didn't even understand why I was going through the different things that I was going through. I just knew that I had to have faith. I just knew that all these different things that I was learning and doing and mastering, they had to be for a reason. There's many times that I thought, yeah, this is it. I'm about to bust. This is going to be the one. And then it didn't happen. I'm like, okay, a little bit deflating, but I've got to keep going. Do you understand? I've learned so many skills through this one project and this whatever it is. Okay, let's do something else. Let's take what I've learned from these different things into this new project, into this new learning. You see what I'm saying? It's a continuous journey. I used to see people getting their flowers and, reaching their highs in their life. And I used to love seeing it. I used to support it. I used to congratulate, and I still do. And on the flip side, I would see others who would see people doing well and they're bad-minded. Oh, they think they're this or they think they're that. Yeah, whatever. Do you understand? Like, people can be so fickle. People can be so bad-minded and envious. But you know what? I've always wished people the best. You know what I mean? I've always helped people, even if they was in a better off position than me, knowing that my day would come, my time would come. I just had to keep moving forward, keep doing what I needed to do in order to learn, grow, and become the person I needed to become in order to achieve and fulfill what my personal dreams was. Because remember, I'm supposed to be in a wheelchair before the age of 40. So I'm trying to get everything done in a short space of time and learn the most. So if that happens, I'm independent. Do you understand? Financially, on every level, I have a team around me. I've got so many different things inside me that I could be in this wheelchair and not have to worry about that. I could be using my mind and my upper body and whatever it is, to create things. You understand? I'd seen people in a wheelchair who were touring the world. You know what I mean? Got global businesses. And then on the flip side of that, I saw people who were in a wheelchair who were feeling sorry for themselves. You understand? Didn't have no support. People pushing them around. I didn't want to be that person. I needed to be someone who had independence. So the journey to self-transformation is a solitary one. It's not easy. But with faith, persistence, perseverance, you can make it. Do you understand? The mindset, it always matters. You see me? That's the Regal mindset. You get me? But I have to do the shadow work. You know, the shadow work is the things you do behind closed doors that nobody sees. You know what I mean? But when you come out, you're still smiling and they think everything's fine, and you might not be. A lot of the time I was in pain when I was doing things, but you'd never see it on my face. I'd be on stage performing, do my thing, smile, smash up the place, bun down the stage, come off, pain. I mean, I need a massage. I'd go home and, physically die for days. And then I come out again once I've healed, better and stronger. Back at it again. Perseverance, persistence, faith in there's got to be something better than where I was at. Have to keep moving forward. And that's the key to self-transformation. You get me? It's all about the mindset and how you think and how you act and what your intentions are. You know what I mean? How you deal with yourself, how you love yourself, how you treat yourself, and also how you treat other people on this journey. You understand? Because you get what you put in. If you deal with people bad, you get badness back. If you deal with people good, you get goodness back. And it may not always come from those people you give that goodness to, but everything is returned, multiplied. You see me? Mindset, it always matters. That's the Regal mindset.